Thanks for joining us tonight here on Arc Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schneid. It's Friday evening, January 9th. Tonight, we're taking a look at two major crime stories that happened this week here in Utah. We'll begin in South Ogden, where a man is accused of shooting two neighbors, then firing on police as they arrived on scene. The police response was massive. A video sent to us by a 2 News viewer showing the line of law enforcement vehicles just reminds me of the massive presence we saw earlier this week in Salt Lake. This all unfolding overnight in the neighborhood on the south side of Highway 89 across the street from the Fresh Market store over there. And this video of the suspect being taken into the custody, James Joseph Rios. Police say he shot his neighbors because he warned them to stay inside, a man and his wife. Documents state he also shot the couple because he thought they knew people were coming and going into his home and they didn't tell him. That according to an officer's report. Family telling investigators Rios has been acting irrational. A long rifle and ammunition were recovered from the home. Rios booked on 2 counts of attempted murder. Leslie Duarte went back to that neighborhood today, spoke with a man who witnessed everything unfold last night. He also talked about an interaction he previously had with the suspect that made him think Rios was nice. Take a listen.
And what did you hear? What did you see?
Well, I had friends texting me saying that something was going on in my neighborhood, and I looked out the window, seen about 2 drones in the sky, officers banging on the door.
What door?
The suspect's door. Mm-hmm. I could hear them asking the suspect to come out with their hands up, and then heard 4 to 6 gunshots, a big boom. Came out here for a little bit and seen a SUV with a punching bag attached to the front of it. I don't know what it's called.
Okay.
Ramming vehicle.
Okay.
So just heard a bunch of commotion and stuff. Was wondering what was going on myself, so didn't find out the details till this morning.
What is your reaction to what came out?
I was surprised because this is a really quiet neighborhood. Nothing really goes on here. There's no break-ins or crimes whatsoever. So I was really shocked.
What do you think happened between those 2 neighbors?
I'm not sure. I've actually talked to the guy that was actually arrested there last summer. He has a really nice classic car in the garage. Talked to him about vehicles. He seemed like a really nice guy. So I'm just shocked, to be honest. Yeah, seemed like a really nice guy. So,
what was he telling you? Did you notice any behavioral?
None at all. Everybody in this neighborhood kind of keeps to themselves. It's like it says, it's a really quiet neighborhood, and people walk around with their dogs and stuff. So,
yeah. How'd you talk to once you talked to him in summer? Had you talked to him since? Have you seen him since?
No, I know I think they're at the process of selling their house at one point, and they had a bunch of people living there, cars all over the place, but they seem really nice, average neighbors, so.
Just shocked.
Yeah, just shocked. Just kind of shocked.
One of the reasons for that massive law enforcement response last night was because police were being shot at. Fortunately, none were hit or hurt in the situation. Today, our Jim Spiewak spoke with retired FBI agent Greg Rogers, who has responded to many volatile situations over the years.
I spent over 20 years on a SWAT team, was a sniper, and this situation is one of the most dangerous. You have an individual who's already fired a weapon, so you know he's acting irrationally. The situation's very much ramped up because of that. Secondly, the fact that he's shooting a long gun completely changes the way the SWAT team's going to respond. Your body armor doesn't matter what you're wearing. Your body armor does not protect you from a rifle. A rifle's going to penetrate any body armor. You may be wearing plates front and back, but still, that only covers a certain part of your torso. So that's incredibly dangerous. So you're going to have, that's when a SWAT team's going to show up. If they have armor, they're going to show up with an armored vehicle. They're going to do everything they can do to protect themselves from an individual who has a rifle. Not only that, if that individual knows how to shoot that rifle, so you're doing as much background on them as you can when you're rolling out there, that rifle can be effective for hundreds of yards. Whereas a pistol's good for even a talented pistol shooter. It's good for about 25 yards, maybe a little more if you're really experienced, but it's only good for a short distance. That rifle, if you know what you're doing, again, you could be taking fire from hundreds of yards away from somebody who's concealed inside a residence. You can't see them, so it's a very, very dangerous situation. That's about as dangerous as it gets.
Turning now to Rose Park, where investigators are still working to find a suspect or suspects after a shooting that took the lives of 2 Utahns and injured 6 other people. Salt Lake City police saying witnesses in the case have not been cooperating. No arrests have been made, as we are aware. However, they're still following leads. Investigators say it's likely everyone involved knew each other here. The family of one of the victims of that shooting, a 38-year-old father, speaking out for the first time. The wife of Sione Vatuve told our Liv Kelleher that the reality of the last few days hasn't fully hit them and described him as a smart and loving brother, husband, and father who was on the path of turning his life around.
My husband was one of a kind, for sure.
Christina and Sione were newlyweds, married just 3 months ago.
He had a tough exterior, but he had a big heart, a big loving heart.
On Tuesday, she was devastated to hear he was fatally shot while attending a funeral at a meeting house, an event he told her not to go to.
I would have been right next to him. I don't ever leave his side. And so I feel like that was his way of looking out for me.
He was trying to change his life.
Siona's sister Macy talks of a difficult upbringing and the big dreams her brother had of a better life for him and his family.
The same kind of kids that made those same choices he did back in the day. He's trying to steer them into doing something better for the community.
And today's a beautiful day.
His wife says he was making online content focused on mental health, suicide prevention, and faith.
Get some spiritual food and knowledge and get some blessings in, you know what I'm saying?
Sione leaves behind a 16-month-old son. What's your message to the people who have done this?
They took away a really good person. And he was just getting started. And now he's gone.
I also reached out to the Salt Lake City Police Department to see if they had any updates on the investigation, but they said they had no new information to share today. Sione's sister has started a GoFundMe account to help with unexpected funeral costs and to support their son during this difficult time. We've included a link to that GoFundMe account alongside this story on our website, KUTV.com. Reporting in Taylorsville, Liv Kelleher, KUTV 2 News.
So Liv also spoke with former Salt Lake police chief about these types of investigations, how a lack of cooperation can make solving the crime more complicated, and whether or not the public should be concerned for their safety after this incident. Take a listen.
We were talking a little bit about some of the steps that happen at this point in an investigation. They've mentioned that there's no one in custody, but they have officers with potential victims, potential suspects at the hospital. What does that mean?
Well, I think it's fairly obvious in this circumstance that there's some potential gang involvement here. There's some relationship between the people involved. And so what they're doing is they're trying to develop human resources, right? Talk to everybody. Whose story doesn't match, right? Is it consistent, right? Who might know something? Because a lot of times these things are solved by somebody bragging about the situation or talking about the situation.
When we think about people being related to each other, cousins, family members, police have said that these people knew each other. What is that? How does that complicate the investigation in terms of cooperation?
Well, it does make it very difficult because nobody wants to be a rat and tell on somebody, and nobody, especially if there's family involvement, right? You don't want your family member to potentially be held accountable for something. So it is very complicated, and it involves a lot of good, solid police work, detective work, right? This is the thing that, again, a lot of people don't understand. You have detectives who put their heart and soul into these investigations just to make sure every piece lines up, not only with what people say, not only with what the video shows, but then put physical evidence on top of that and make sure that it all flows together so you have one complete case that eventually you could tell a jury, this is what happened, and have them all say, yes, we believe you.
Finally, for me, the safety, public safety. We know that we don't have anyone in custody. Police say they don't believe that there's any ongoing threat to the public. But if there's gang presence, is there going to always be a threat in some degree? Should people be concerned about gang presence?
Well, it's something that I would not be concerned about. I wouldn't tell my children or grandchildren, avoid this part of town, don't do this, don't go to that. I think it's a common sense sort of thing. If you're in an environment in which it makes you feel uncomfortable, then you don't participate in it. But I don't know that I would be overly concerned. Personally, I find more concern with the unknown happening as opposed to people who have a conflict engaging in criminal activity or violence.
The random, potentially non-targeted violence versus people knowing
It's
each
really
other.
sort of a scary because there's, right, in all violence, I think we dehumanize the other side. However, when there's the connection, you start to see, well, you did this to me, I did this, right? And so you see that, and so there's not an intent for just anyone to be hurt or harmed. But in the random, what we've seen in mass shootings across the country, that is a scary situation in which somebody values nobody. Right? At least in this circumstance, there's some value for the like side or participants or family members.
Stay with 2 News as police continue to search for the suspects in this deadly shooting. Get all the updates on our website, KUTV.com. Coming up here on Arc Salt Lake, a Spanish Fork canine officer flown to the hospital after a training accident. How he's doing now and the impact it is having on the force. A Spanish Fork police canine home and recovering after a training incident left the canine fighting for his life. Canine Zero, 3-year-old narcotics and apprehension dog, injured Wednesday night during a training exercise. Zero was taken by medical chopper to a Salt Lake area veterinarian where he spent the night. As Brian Will reports, Zero was released on Thursday afternoon.
Give it up for Canine Zero out of Spanish Fork Police Department.
The furriest member of the Spanish Forks Police Department competed in the annual Las Vegas Canine Trials this past spring. But it's another jump that got him into serious trouble.
For some unknown reason, it decided to jump over the railing, and it was 20 feet below, and it, like I say, ended up kind of hitting the fire truck and on the ground. Lieutenant Corey Slaymaker says it happened Wednesday during a training exercise that they had done many times before. They've done this similar training at this same particular building time and time again. And so what caused the dog to jump over that railing, you know, we'll never know. Canine Zero suffered a collapsed lung, fractured shoulder, and cuts to his legs and mouth. Zero was flown to Mountain West Vet Hospital, leaving his fellow officers on edge. They are sworn they're one of us, just like we are as a police officer. These handlers probably spend as much more time with that canine than they do their own family. Canine Zero and his handler, Officer Justin Miller, work hand in paw on a daily basis. These dogs mean the world to not only our handlers, but to our department.
Is there a little bit of a gap now without having that resource?
It does put a little bit of a hurt on us for a little while, but at the same time, we're just glad that the dog is okay.
Zero is expected to make a full recovery, but will hopefully be able to return to duty in about 8 to 10 weeks. Now the department is short 2 dogs, with one recently passing away and 0 injured. They're leaning on neighboring departments for the time being. Lieutenant Slaymaker also says they don't anticipate changing any of the training because of this one incident. Well, he's been awfully quiet tonight, but meteorologist Sean Kelly joins us now with our first alert forecast.
Well, we're off to a much healthier start here as we head closer towards the middle of January. Much better than just a few weeks ago. A healthier snowpack, 76% median. Unfortunately, if we're going to continue this trend, it'd be nice, but we're not going to continue this trend because it is looking quiet in the days ahead, weeks ahead. No storms here in the foreseeable future. So get out there and take advantage of some of that powder that we are dealing with in some spots. There'll still be some powder to be found at our ski resorts. So if you're heading up there, it's going to be a great day tomorrow, bluebird kind of day. And tomorrow will be the day that those temperatures will still be quite chilly, especially in the morning hours. But over the next several days, those temperatures up into the mountains will be significantly warmer than the valleys as that inversion continues to strengthen. We reached 33 for a high today. It was unseasonably cold. It was the coldest day of the season so far. Currently sitting into the 20s and 30s with temperatures back below freezing. We've got air quality issues that we'll be tracking, not so much tomorrow, but certainly as we get in the day on Sunday, worsening air quality as we get into early next week as that haze thickens. Currently at 20 degrees in Park City, 27 in Milford, 28 in Cedar City. Dry conditions across the state. There's a storm that we dealt with across the southern plains. Big severe weather outbreak into the Gulf states here up through New England. Going to be dealing with the mix of rain and snow. Meanwhile, here at home, we get ready for even colder temperatures overnight. We're down into the teens and single digits. Look at Heber there at 4 degrees, 9 in Richfield, 5 in Delta as the winds calm and the sky is clear. Those highs tomorrow into the 30s across the state, so a few degrees warmer. Remember, we're going to start after tomorrow that the areas, including Park City up into the mountains, will be warmer than the valleys, but tomorrow will be the last day. We'll be kind of closer to normal here. So St. George, you're looking at temperatures each and every day, kind of great golfing weather, quiet weather as can be over the next 7 to 10 days. Those temperatures will be warming into the 50s and eventually to close to 60 degrees by the mid to end of the work week next week. Quiet weather. And then across the Wasatch Front, we're going to be dealing with temperatures here after tomorrow that will be slightly warmer than normal, but at least closer to where we should be for this time of the year. quiet weather here with the inversion settling in. The ridge of high pressure system will be kind of capping the atmosphere, stopping that ventilation from occurring, those winds aloft, and that's going to keep the atmosphere kind of capped and keep that inversion strengthening. And that's going to trap the pollution, create the hazy skies, and we're stuck with this weather pattern each and every day from Sunday all the way through next week. Some of the long-range models looking at maybe January 22nd for our next potential snow and next potential storm.
All right, thank you, Sean. Enjoy your weekend. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, it's Girl Scout cookie season. How you can order now and details on their newest cookie. All right, Girl Scout cookie season now officially underway here in Utah. If you've watched this show, over the years, the Girl Scouts came on the show a few years ago. It was awesome. You can order cookies online. Go into gsutah.org. Support our local Girl Scouts. Cookie booths will be open across the state starting March 13th. Catch them outside the supermarket. This year, the Girl Scouts have a new Explore More cookie. It's inspired by Rocky Road ice cream. The cookie program ends April 12th. And you can help end child hunger in Utah with our Super Bowl of Caring. Scan the QR code on your screen. Go to KUTV.com/donate for more information. For many children, their only meal is a free school breakfast or lunch. And just $10 can help feed a child for a weekend. Well, the pattern is settling in starting this weekend. Hazy, dry, not a big change in the forecast. As things change, you know where to stay. KUTV2 News. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for being with us throughout the week. Be safe. We'll see you Monday night at 7 o'clock. Take care.